Onivia, League of Legends highlights.
So this will add a bit more hard CC and a little bit more go in. And we also saw Keria have a wonderful performance on this in-game #1, managing to snipe Ezreal's left, right, and center with those Zenith blades. Very, very rough. Now Cuz finds Pyosik inside his jungle. As Faker once again not going to find the bubble. Shockwave comes down this time as the Ignite is actually utilized very early. Meanwhile, a fight on the top side of the map as well. Onslaught of Shadows comes down. Canna from over the wall, and the execution is absolutely perfect to get the first blood for the Akali. So necessary, as well as now Kingen in some trouble. But he should be all right as Faker lands that bubble, actually flashes on top of him, picks up the barrier, as well as now Sulker's the one that has to run. The flash over, Faker finds the solo kill, but it's answered in the end as well.
It's action all over the map, bot lane. Herald is a really big one, both teams are collapsing.
Yep, in they go, there's Keria flashing on forward. Onslaught of Shadows comes down and Sulker completely removed from the fight, finds a couple with the Shockwave, but he is too far out of position. The rest of DRX say, well, I guess we'll take a consolation blue buff and hope things are going to be okay. Chains of Corruption land onto Becca.
Quick end of the world again. The wombo combo is insane. Might find a kill here.
Yeah, we're looking for it. Pyosik's going to dive on top of Keria right now, keeping himself alive for a while, but the exhaust is going to be put down. Solar Flare comes through as well. They trade 1-for-1, and now Teddy's looking for more. The teleport coming through to help out. And there's a horse down here at the same time. Piercing Arrow will connect. The Rampage just as a drive-by. And now Faker gets to come on through, throw down all those summoners with the W, and T1 will mop it up.
And you're fed, but you don't have Magana, and there's a lot of damage available.
Yep, and now he's going to be put into the blender. Canna gets underneath the turret, and you don't even need perfect execution to lock that one down. It's just too many strong members.
They don't have Cryo, they don't have the vision, they don't have the setup.
Oh, can Keenan find it again? Canna is able to get that backflip to get him out of the way, and now it decides to go back in. There's a perfect execution, locks it down, turns it straight onto the face of Kingen. However, he's still going to fall down. Pyosik does have the ulti button, presses it and says outplay this, and Canna's not going to be able to. 1-for-1, but more resources needed for DRX.
Nagari might have left the LCK, but his spirit lives on. Kana, he just needs a death, maybe 2, and then that's when the solo kills start coming through, okay?
All right, he's got 2 deaths. That is definitely the Nagari moment.
But
100% agree.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Bow, remember that cleanse from before? Now the flash is down, Solar Flare comes through. There's a lot of CC available here. Grand entrance, that's pretty cool, but I think Faker can actually survive this pretty comfortably, and now Becca has to escape. Sulker going to move on down. He's been putting out fires this entire game. Now they're just zoning DRX away. The map control coming out yet again. This has certainly been their strength throughout this series.
And coming into this game, we talked about T1. If they find lead, playing against the Zoe that's this fat and looking at the Infernal Soul of all things is rough.
It is 2 items already completed as well. Horizon Focus are done as now Cuz going to get engaged on in the bouncy castle and not going to be pulled back by that Shockwave as Cuz is going to ulti out. Sulker takes a bit of damage from the Paddle Star, but will remain alive. And T1 also going to get out of there. Okay, Pyosik now should be able to find Teddy. The flash comes through, but the stun is going to be there. Pyosik ohm-wrecks the turret, and Bao will survive in the end. The last auto will be denied.
So close to get a count.
And the more T1 split DRX up, the more difficult it's going to be for DRX to win the game.
Oh, okay.
Actually, champion that can do so as well, but DRX just bullied out of the area. They know that they don't have the health bars to challenge this, and it's just Infernal Soul stolen away. The backs are even stopped as Sulker is in trouble. He does find a defensive Shockwave, flashes his way out, and he survives. Somehow they trade supports. That's not the target that they were looking for, so definitely a sick play is now Canna. Off to the side, he's looking for Kingen, ults his way through and then gets back to the Shuriken. Not able to lock that one down, but T1 now have just so much more value in this composition. The Infernal Soul is so strong, but DRX demonstrating that they have still got fight left in him.
Oh, that's a big teleport, King, and if he can get his Narbar.
Yeah, it's in a pretty good position right now, but you can see Cuz just going to try and execute Bao. Bao, he's out of this fight, burning down with the red buff as Faker locks down Kingen as well. Cuz is fighting 1 versus 3, by the way, and this is why DRX needed to try and go for that reset. They had their back stopped, and Cuz says absolutely not, my friend. And now Pyosik at the mercy of T1. The huge piercing arrow is going to connect, and connect again, as Beck is now in so much trouble. He has to get back to his fountain, and T1, oh my goodness, that was revolting.
T1 is just playing Duck Hunt. They're just sitting there, they're shooting skill shots, and DRX, they can't actually get on top of the carries, and here you see why this kind of composition is so oppressive. DRX themselves have showed it why these poke comps can do so much, and an Infernal Soul again is a worst case scenario because it means that no matter what you do, unless you straight up win the fight right from the get-go, you can't match the damage, you can't match the elongated fights in a very different way than an Ocean Soul does, but still just as debilitating. And Mouth, here goes the Baron, and sieging with this composition and an Infernal Soul.
Pretty revolting, as we're going to have a look at live here. Carrier looking for Kingen, he'll find it. Oh my god, Teddy, that damage is ridiculous. And the Gnar is very, very dead, just not able to be pushed up.
Game number 1, where it felt like DRX always had the angle, but T1 just mechanically outmuscled them. And game number 2, where clearly DRX were the better team.
Again.
It just feels like you're at the mercy of whatever T1 decides to do. And if T1 don't go for a huge overextension, if they don't start grouping up, if they keep dragging and like stretching out these team fights, keep poking and playing it slow, it's so hard for DRX to get anything done.
Certainly looking like it. Chronicler, this is such a struggle for DRX, who now have an exposed inhibitor in that mid lane. True Shot Barrage just to try and help with these minions, but with the Baron buff, it's so difficult. Chains of Corruption go to Narnia, but it's not even, I think, actually going to be relevant, to be perfectly honest. Because trying to find an opening, does have everything available, and he's just going to settle for locking up this inhibitor. Solar Flare comes out now as Becca. Now with the quickness, in goes Carrier, goes Golden as well. Look at the AoE, it's revolting! Bao will just get tidied up by this horse. The perfect execution to get right on top of all these carries. It's a very, very quick ace. You blink and you'll miss it, and T1 are in round 2 of the playoffs.
And it was a valiant effort from DRX. I still insist that they played better than any of us had expected. This team was slumping, they gave it their all, they showed what they were made of.